Well, that was a very solid set. But speaking of solid sets, it's now time to jump into the Division of Death. Diamonds are
Jinxed it.
formed
This
under
is now gonna
immense pressure. Noob.
be a complete mess. We're gonna see a bunch of red tests because you've jinxed it. It should be good. It should.
Should be good. Warning
Bloom we
track
actually
versus
watched
Bloom.
last week play KCM in a really close set that he.
Yeah, that KCM I think clutched towards the end, was it?
Yeah, KCM was very clutch towards the end. Bloom, to note, didn't shoot a single civilian last season. He maybe wasn't on point, or KCM really got to him because he did end up shooting 2 civilians in the KCM game, but he did have 3 spy wins, which is a big ask in Diamond.
That is crazy.
Sniper biased. Don't expect much from Bloom in regards to like rushes games. So we're like 3 minutes, 3-minute 30-second maps. And if you add up all those time, it would have added up to 20 minutes and 30 seconds of clock that he was provided. He spent 20 minutes and 5 seconds of that clock. He spent 98% of the clock. Is because KCM was being very patient himself. But Bloom is not one to rush. And I expect these games to be on the Bloom spy side.
Well, let's have a quick look at how this draft did go on. This is, of course, a diamond matchup, despite the graphic currently showing you it as platinum. Of course, WarningTrack did win platinum last season, and has been on a constant rise of success. Growing from gold up to platinum up to diamond. Now his first season in diamond, where he is basically looking to try and dismantle it from within.
Looking at the bans, so we had WarningTrack banning Pub, which is a very etiquette-heavy map, not surprising, and Bloom banning Veranda, which has a lot of noise. And then WarningTrack ended up picking Library, picking Courtyard, very classic. WarningTrack picking Balcony, High Rise 3 or 5, which I think is probably the most interesting pick here. I'm wondering what the mindset is of Bloom picking High Rise 3 or 5 over. That's a diamond division that we're looking at here. Thank you, Signerf.
Yeah, so I want to quickly see if I can figure out exactly how these games went down last week between KCM, Bloom, and WarningTrack and Magician, just so that we can kind of get.
WarningTrack beat Magician 7-4. It was he looked like the better player, but it was hard fought. Predictions generally put as the last person, and that doesn't mean much in Diamond because Magician was in the finals in season 2. A division where I would say Bloom might be like a slight favorite. I think they're very close. But Bloom lost his first game and WarningTrack won his first one.
So I think this high rise pick kind of just shows that Bloom is really interested in playing high rise, because when you go back and look at the draft from the KCM series, KCM in fact banned high rise against Bloom in week 1. So clearly that's something that Bloom must be feeling confident on for him to be picking that up. But it is just a single, not that double. But also, I suppose the strength of having high rise as a single is that you can perform whatever, I say in inverted commas, cheese strategy that you may have, or whatever strategy you might just have for high rise, in fact, and there's nothing that the sniper can do to adapt to it. It just happens.
I would say that the 4 maps that we have right now are 4 of the most volatile maps. Yard, you only need to get 1 hardtail and you've won the game. Balcony, the AI can just talk their way to a shot. High Rise, the AI can talk their way to a shot. And Library, which is of maps. It's you can do whatever you want on library and get away with it. These are maps that a lot of shenanigans can happen on, and a lot of games can go awry even if you are than your opponent on that given day.
Yeah, WarningTrack banning the pub away makes sense as well, due to the fact that that was the double map choice from Bloom in his series against KCM as well. Outside of that, seems like everything is fairly standard. So let's get ourselves on to library to kick ourselves off with this diamond matchup between WarningTrack and Bloom. It is going to be WarningTrack sniping first as a plain twin here on library. And if we're all ready to go, then we'll count ourselves in. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I love the pick, by the way. WarningTrack as twin, but the other twin is ambassador. Who would possibly do that? The answer is apparently
WarningTrack would apparently do that. Now, WarningTrack's a player that does an immense amount of research every game, and I'm sure the majority of Diamond players all do their fair share of prep, but I think WarningTrack kind of likes to argue that when it comes to prep, he's the king. So let's see what kind of prep he's done on to Bloom here, and how he's going to try and attempt to secure himself some spy wins. Good flirt to begin us off with 42% on that seduction target.
Yeah, WarningTrack's one of my practice partners, for lack of a better term. After we were teammates in the team tournament, and he's really fun to play. And the reason why I enjoy playing WarningTrack is if you play a shot, if you play good, you will get shot. You have to play great. You have to make some risky plays to get behind, or get ahead of, I guess, his very just incredibly solid. I would describe his play as pragmatic, very solid, on actually both sides, sniper and spy.
WarningTrack at middle statues does get caught. A lot of attention was displayed over towards this right-hand side of library due to the fact that both Toby and the ambassador was there. Bloom almost not switching over to check those statues, but in fact does just in time to see WarningTrack picking up that middle one. So with WarningTrack, inspects completed, but a highlight copped makes things slightly more difficult from this stage on. When you've got a highlight, bugs are a little bit easier to see. Purloins a little bit easier to track, as well as microfilm transfers. Now WarningTrack really needs to plan his path ahead. That's going to be the banana bread. That's a green bean in a conversation full of people.
Yeah, I think 3 lowlights at most. I'm not even sure that Bloom caught them all. Really good banana bread.
Yeah, 3 lowlights actually. Potential for 3 and only 2 taken, unless there was more. WarningTrack taking a very innocent path around the conversation there, making sure to avoid the ambassador entirely.
Avoiding the ambassador, yeah. I think he's now close to these 2 people, which, if you're tracking flirts, more concerning. But really, all he wants to do is just avoid the ambassador, who's moved out anyways.
Yeah, definitely felt the highlight for the middle statue, so knows that from that point onwards, Bloom will be kind of tracking his map movements, seeing where he does go. The flirt was a success. Now we're off to this yellow bookshelf to get ourselves a book. How WarningTrack interacts with it will be very interesting. I'm pretty sure Bloom very big on etiquette sniping, so WarningTrack will have to make sure he does not make too many mistakes. A white microfilm transfer, a soft transfer of that as well, is going to get the snipe for Bloom.
Yeah, no, against Bloom, you got to be particularly careful on your... he's kind of the pioneer for that. You can't do white microfilms in Diamond. You're just going to get shot.
There you go. Straight up, Pone's call is that we will not see any white microfilm transfers. Well, the thing is, even if you do get one, Pwned,
you can do
even if you do get one,
but you gotta get the second.
2. Right, exactly. Yeah, that's a really fair statement. That's why so many SCL matches, when we do see the microfilm transfer complete, it is just the straight hard transfer of the book into the wrong bookshelf. 1-0 up for Bloom off the back of that first game. Now will be him spying for us, playing Alice, as we jump on to our second round of library. Let's count ourselves in. 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
To answer a chat question, so the difference between my white microfilm and green microfilm is specifically just the animation. A white microfilm, they will put their hand down to their pocket, they will look left, they will look right, like
right then
to
left.
see if they're being watched, right then left. Um, the it's mainly just the arm. The head does move, but less dramatically.
Yeah, it only looks to the right. Sorry, to the left. It never looks right. See, that's the one thing that you need to be looking for microfilm transfers is the fact that when any character reads a book, their head always looks to the left whilst reading. The head never turns right. So a white microfilm transfer breaks that animation by looking to the right. It's the only time it can happen is the microfilm transfer. Also, another
I think
thing.
I was meant to be here for the expert information, but you just know more than me now about microfilms. Gross. We got a flirt. We got a fingerprint.
We got a flirt and a fingerprint. That's correct. Yeah. One thing that's really difficult about the soft transfer and why so many players kind of don't go for soft transfers on the microfilm is the fact that the animation starts as soon as you click to start that action test, and it always starts with the hand going down to the pocket. And so if it's a green, then as soon as you hit that green, then the hand shoots back up to the book, and your head turns slightly to the left. But well, that was a bug attempt, failing unfortunately for Bloom, but doesn't go spotted. But if that action test is all the way at the end of the bar, then it actually just looks like a white microfilm to most people. So even if you hit a green microfilm, it's really unfortunate that sometimes it really just looks 100% like a white. Bloom's unfortunate pathing into the circle there. Slight teleport.
Yeah.
Spin around, a jog into the middle of the circle.
Jackson out here, but he can take his flirt and get out of here.
I mean, at that point, he's pretty much showing off his moonwalking ability, but hasn't taken a highlight from WarningTrack. So it goes to show that WarningTrack really just didn't see any of that happening and isn't too suspicious. We now have Bloom in a conversation with the double agent who's going to stick to the conversation after taking a drink. I'm always scared anytime an AI takes a drink that they will sunshine me. The seduction target's flirt will be done in about 30 to 20 seconds time. And he can also contact the double agent from the circle.
This is what I'm referencing to. You can call it patient
too. Range for a bug?
Slow. Range for bug.
No, just not quite.
He's waiting on library, the biggest and silliest of maps, for a timer flirt. He has completed flirt. It's not like it's awful. He just only got 1 minute left and 4 missions to go.
So one thing that I think is very prevalent in Diamond, especially PoNoob, is that a lot of these players will know when they can complete missions and when they can't. And as soon as they've decided that they can't complete missions, they will just not look to do anything super obvious to the sniper, and instead they will look to try and force a miss shot. Of course, the one thing that Bloom has been doing is tracking certain party goers around the map, seeing where they are, and so that will potentially help in his ability to force a miss shot. Now, we do have a green time ad coming through, 45 seconds on the clock, only greens here in Diamond.
And yeah, I really like the he waited at windows, so he wasn't away from the
It's a banana bread. Also a drink offered to a highlight, which is buns. That's going to catch WarningTrack's attention, but of course there is going to be no purloin coming through. That clock awfully slow, so he knows it's a green timer. This is the point where will a miss shot come through from WarningTrack? I feel like there's nothing really for WarningTrack to miss shoot for. We've got 30 seconds left on our clock, 5 seconds ticking down on the sniper clock. This could be the purloin. There's actually a potential for Bloom to complete missions here. That's a green purloin. He's going to the statues. We've been talking about this as if it wasn't, but never mind. The inspect right at the end. And that is
I'm suspecting that Track may have had a bit of understanding of the fingerprint, but that that's not BB.
It was the fingerprint gulp as well.
Yeah, the purloin split looked really suspicious, and then going straight to mid statues. It's just a bit of quick math to go. That's a spy. That's a spy. Equals shoot now.
Spy equals spy. And some quick math right there, pro noob. Really solid shot from WarningTrack. That is a beautiful diamond shot coming through. And I feel like WarningTrack would have been potentially really unsure in that shot, just due to my interactions with him as a sniper. When he isn't 100% sure, but makes shots like that, you can kind of hear the uncertainty in his voice. But WarningTrack's such a great player, such a really clean player, and so to be able to make shots like that just really shows the kind of skill that we're dealing with up here in Diamond.
Yeah, classic Bloom play of trying to complete 4 missions in the last minute. Obviously, the time ad did help there, but good stuff on WarningTrack to not succumb to the slow beeping.
Yeah, that slow beeping it almost sounds like death towards the end of it. 2 sniper wins coming through for our Diamond compadres here. Second round of library to get underway. Of course, it is going to be WarningTrack back on the spy, playing a bit of salmon for ourselves today. So let's count it down to a tasty dinner. 3, 2, 1. Playing it. We'll see how WarningTrack does decide to approach this second round of library.
Looking around the party, seeing the seduction target coming to us, and we run at them.
And we go right past them. So clearly not super interested in chasing down a seduction target. Thankfully, it seems like Duke or Prince or Mr. U or James Blonde isn't too interested in stopping in a conversation either. So potential to go get a flirt at a side statue.
Stick with one of them.
I'm happy to say all of them. I mean, that's the great thing about SpyParty, is that there's so many different names for all the different characters. I will reference him as Duke for the rest of this particular game, but I like to kind of give the reference out.
Bug?
Nope.
0 missions done, and we are approaching 1 minute in, quarter of the way. I suspect that we'll go follow the seduction target now, but even then, he's run away from the window before we get there.
Yeah, so WarningTrack doesn't even bother attempting, but luckily for us, there's the potential that he comes to us. Wow, this is some diamond level play right here. Knowing where the seduction target's pathing would be, Chelsea says with a shade of sarcasm. Currently, the drink being offered to Orange Dress, that is a 33% flirt.
It's
pretty
fine
rough.
if you do 33 is fine, because if you do 34, you still get there. The magically bad number is 31%. At that point, you still need a green.
It's true.
Is double dipping. I think his flirt timer's still going though. It's
Well, that's a swap coming through, a green swap straight off the back. Now going for his inspect here. Seemingly the flirt timer is still going due to the fact that pretty much no distance was ever separated between him and the seduction target, but now it has expired and he has stopped up. So we've been spotted paired at a conversation, spotted paired at a statue, and now potentially spotted and paired in this second conversation here. The flirt does go for
it up.
Who is it, sorry? Wheels, did you say?
The statue. He doesn't have a highlight until now. He ate the highlight
banana
for
bread.
going to statue when WarningTrack didn't.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So the side statue... Oh, that's a purloin as well.
Yeah.
This is a rush by WarningTrack. Now he does split after. The shot attempt does come through, and Bloom will make it successfully. That was some scary rushing play from WarningTrack. Now, potentially he felt like the statue swap was pretty much him dead at that point, so might as well double dip into the hardtail pool. But Bloom didn't seemingly see the statue ever, and it wasn't until the purloin that he was confident to make the shot onto WarningTrack.
Yeah, I mean, the idea behind a rush is the swap, he goes, oh no, who swapped? And then the BB happens, and you go, oh no, I don't know who swapped, and I now have to worry about the BB. And then while you're worrying, then the purloin happens. Bloom keeps a calm head. I think just actually saw the purloin, and easy enough shot.
Yeah, very, very confident shot there coming through. Now we'll have to see Bloom if he can find the first spy win here. Like you mentioned, many spy wins in his previous week series against KCM. Now against WarningTrack, let's see how he does deal with it. He is playing Seek here, the red turban wearing best dressed man at the party as far as I'm concerned. Let's count it in.
Yes.
It is going to be 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
I
Drink in
think
hand.
best dressed man is fair. I think it's competitive between Seek and Orange Dress. Best dressed character. I do like the
Seek
Sari.
and orange dress. I have to
Right?
say, I really. Yeah, she definitely is. I love the confidence of Rocker to wear her leopard print waistcoat to such a fancy party. But also, you have to give points to Morgan Freeman for the sweater suit combo, as well as Salmon for the just, very smart casual sports jacket and chinos. Very fashionable man, Salmon. But
Fair.
for me, it is Seek. We want to talk about game mechanics here. That's good. Seduction target. Yep, rushed
I'm
85%.
excited for the programmer character that we are surely due to get. Valley guy who's just gonna come to this party just completely disheveled. I hope he looks like Checker.
We'll have to see. This is
If you
a
just if
fingerprint attempt.
you
Unfortunately.
Bloom's
Hey.
fingerprint there was I think on point. Briefcase.
Yeah, no, that was relatively good play on the briefcase there. Unfortunately, the AI did beat us there. So straight to a book we go. Now looking to potentially just buy some time. Like we mentioned earlier, if there's anyone who's going to catch you for book etiquette, it is Bloom. So watching him interact with books is always interesting because he's
Warning
very
track.
much likely to follow etiquette as to a T. Is this a watch time ad? Oh, it's the first white. That pops us up to 3 minutes and
White
the beep
time.
comes through.
Yeah, he gets out of the window spot before too much trouble.
Purloin of the guest list triggered. It's another white test. Behind the pillar, a really strong position to do it. But now we are going to see that the guest list has been purloined. We're also going to see a gulp come through from Bloom here. Seduce has been clipped a stop talk. And what is WarningTrack looking at right now? He has so many highlights, 5 highlights, but hasn't really seemingly looked for anyone who potentially could have purloined here. Bloom now over to the other side of the map. How will he
The reason
play the
that
rest of this
Purloin was
out?
so good, it had a couple things going for it. One is everybody in the conversation that he was with was either up against the wall or had a drink, so Toby ran away. He was also behind the pole, and it was also just kind of out of the blue. It really hit every single thing that you want to do when you do a Purloin. He's getting the highlight for mid statues, but Bloom's got to feel pretty good that he is getting the highlight now and not that Track necessarily uses his highlights for anything other than statues.
Right. And so when you look at the party, 6 people have been to statues so far. This is Bloom's second book touch here, potentially setting up for the fingerprint. Yep, there it is. Comes on through. He also could take it away with him, join a conversation, and then transfer, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. How cheeky does Bloom want to get here? Basta back at the books may just go straight back for the second fingerprint. That would be very cheeky with a bit of peri salt on top.
Banana bread, then fingerprint, I think makes a bit more sense. If the EA wanted to help us, Double Agent does actually run away, so now we gotta rethink.
Bug opportunity isn't taken. Would have
Requesting
been
a
very
drink here
risky.
just to reject it.
Now back to the green bookshelf. Is going to miss the
Miss
pad. Is on sort of the sniper's vision as well. That's super unfortunate for Bloom. Not the way you want to go down is missing a pad. The stutter was a killer.
Already had a bit more suspicion than was necessarily implied by the lights, but yeah, miss pad. It's Diamond Bros.
He's going to
You can't do that.
No, definitely can't do that up here in Diamond. And 4 sniper victories so far for Bloom and WarningTrack, tying up this first of our double maps to a piece. Heading on over to Courtyard now, a map where realistically getting a win, especially in Diamond as a spy, is relatively impossible. And so you can almost predict that this game after this double will be tied up for a piece, and then we're heading to our singles. If someone was to take a spy win, then pretty miraculous, really, from these guys. I'm really excited to see if any of them have some tricks up their sleeve.
We disagree. Let's play.
Respectfully disagree. Okay, no, I want to hear it before we go in.
Okay, so always Diamond's its own monster, but people always say the Courtyard's incredibly sniper biased, and then we go look at the data, and it was like sniper wins. Because all you have to do is get a hardtail. Now that's a big ask. You can get 2-print sneaky, or you can get a bug, or you can get a swap, and maybe like a nice long purloin chain. The game is very hard for the sniper to take a correct shot. It feels really bad because and it feels really comfortable for the sniper. It's a really overestimate how strong the sniper bias is because Courtyard feels really good as a sniper. You get to see everything.
You got a vision of 3/4 of the party at any time, and it's so quick to rotate to change what 3/4 of the party you do have vision on. Well, there you go, Mr.
But we play.
The data does argue a point against me that spies do win more often than not. So maybe we will see.
It's still snipers. It's still sniper biased. It's not like it's balcony or ballroom, which are actually just 50-50. But there are more sniper biased maps.
Okay.
Mainly the 5 of 8s, I think, are.
All right. Well, now I'm excited.
The more missions that have to be done, the better it is for the sniper. It turns out.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, let's get on into it. It is going to be Small Man here for WarningTrack as he does spy up first. Bloom back with the rifle in hand. As we do jump over to Courtyard for our second map of this series, kicking it off with the countdown 3, 2, 1, playing it. WarningTrack does spawn in front of statues as well as the Ambassador. Bumps the Ambassador twice whilst AI controlled. Probably the best way to bump the Ambassador if you are going to bump them.
Do it correctly instead of run into them. I like to think that it's opt for the swap for our sniper. One highlight for a really quick statue. I think Irish might have gotten to the statue before potentially seeing the statue.
Yeah, and of course, at that point, you kind of have to credit those AI with statue swaps if you never saw them picking up the statue, and that's a really good starting position for WarningTrack, especially if he's able to keep both Bling Twin and Irish in play, not eliminate them with BBs. That's going to add extra pressure onto Bloom.
It's really the banana bread that you want to do.
Banana bread.
There it is.
And try and keep as many. It's you can get a lot of people low light for banana bread if you keep all the statue lights live. In this case, he loses 2 active, but Twin are in conversation, which is nice.
Right, and let's talk about Twin for a second, because he's been to statues, so you can assume potential swap and inspect, depending on how quick he was over there. He's now BB'd, and he's already got a fingerprint. If we see one more fingerprint come out of Bling Twin, Blue may just be forced into an unfortunate shot here, and that would give WarningTrack the spy win that he desperately needs.
Oh, this is a tempting bug.
Seduction has been seduced. The seduction target, that is, sorry, from across the conversation as well. Oh, the bug while standing! WarningTrack does take the temptation, and unfortunately will be punished for it as well. I want to go back to watch that bug just for a second and really see that from WarningTrack's point of view and what he was looking at, because that bug was super tempting. He was well in range for it. The Ambassador was kind of in that golden zone where he's not going to leave the conversation abruptly. But never actually looks at the sniper laser. He was really super concentrated on just going unnoticed since he was Small Man. And Bloom pretty much 100% had that covered.
I think is good in principle, and then it's just, is the sniper watching? The answer is going to be always yes. They're always watching. I mean, you have to.
Shot out
he just has to.
well.
He was just doing the rotate over to make sure it wasn't swap, and then otherwise was watching the bug. It's a good catch.
Yeah, really, really good catch. Going back just to confirm, Bling Twin got to statues before Bloom could see them. Yeah, so not that WarningTrack may have known this due to the fact that he spawned on the complete opposite side of the map to Bling Twin, I believe. But yeah, Bling Twin definitely could have had the swap assumed One single inspect assumed, a banana bread assumed, as well as a fingerprint assumed. A little bit more patience on that game, and there's definitely the potential to a missed shot onto Blink Twin if the AI was to cooperate. But unfortunate, the bug was spotted. Well, I say unfortunate. It's fortunate for Bloom. WarningTrack will go down once more, putting us at a 3-2 advantage to Bloom, with him now jumping onto the map as Spy, playing Plane Twin for us. And we'll count ourselves into the second round of Courtyard. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Bloom with Twin. I think just because of the forums. He has a Twin icon. In real life, just looks like Twin. Both of them.
He's also removed Blink Twin from the map as well.
This is the second game where the Twin is the only Twin that is potentially the Spy. I like it. He specifically avoids the bug path, which I think is sensible.
Entering conversation with no one of value to Bloom. We can see that the suspected double agent is Rocker. Of course, Bloom doesn't know that. Now he is going to be pathing over to the conversation with the real double agent. May go for a very early banana bread contact of the double agent on us. Only one highlight so far onto Duke for the statue touch, and he's also in a conversation with the real, with the suspected DA. So that's going to only add to the heat that Duke has taken so far this game.
Really, where it comes down on Courtyard, it's hard for a that's a white swap in the face.
Wow.
I think he's trying to follow up Duke and convince him. It was a bit late.
Right.
I think swap would have happened a bit sooner, but I think that's the intent. Is just a frame on Duke that you also can just finish the game if you want to.
And it gets taken. The bait on the frame is absolutely taken by WarningTrack there. And do you know what may have just sold it? Bloom's pathing as he exited the statue there. The 180 turn from the Spy. Potential was the for the sell that I am an AI, and Duke was the one who swapped your statue. The miss shot comes through, and that is going to be WarningTrack losing his tied position up against Bloom. Bloom takes the lead 4-2 so far in this series.
That Bloom intentionally was playing this and why it's played so well is he swapped before the inspect. So AI will when you do a green swap, the AI will only swap in the first animation. And spies, when they do their swaps, if they're not trying to specifically frame someone, will do their inspects first and then typically swap at the end. And they can run away in case they don't get a green swap. In this case, Bloom immediately swapped well before WarningTrack had a chance to see the actual animation. And he's following Duke. The only saving grace and the only thing that WarningTrack has to respect is how long it took for that swap to happen. But that's really hard. I don't blame him for not catching that.
Yeah, no, that is a fairly well executed frame coming out of Bloom there onto Duke, the only other statue toucher. And now with the series in his court on Courtyard of all maps, 4-2, it will be WarningTrack looking to try and come back from behind, playing as Spy here, giving us a game on Teal/Mum. And we'll have to see if he is able to pull it back. So let's count ourselves in 3, 2, 1, playing it. WarningTrack.
I appreciate that you're doing the count-ins. I usually end up doing them, and then I get bored and get too creative. We got one statue. This time it's going to be a bit unlike, say, the first set, where there was a lot of pressure on the sniper. We're going to Purloin immediately,
That's
too.
a Purloin. Yeah, white Purloin right off the bat. I believe Bloom just noticed that happen, zoomed in on the guest list. Is he now trying to bait out the gulp, potentially? It is going to just be a sip coming through from WarningTrack, but the highlight is copped, and Bloom at this point has no reason to shoot so early. We're only, 40 seconds into this game. WarningTrack, if he does want to complete, will have to do far more missions than that.
Did a really sneaky highlight. So he was rotating around, And as he rotated, he clicked on orange dress instead of just dragging his mouse over there. He's specifically wanting to avoid orange dress from knowing. It's not the spy; it's just the person who took the list. But Bloom has it down to those two as his main suspects, I would suspect.
Right. Yeah. So orange just was the potential
Banana
green
red.
purloiner, right? Whereas warning track, I think, actually just green,
At least in Bloom's
white.
belief. I didn't
Yeah.
see any respect personally, but that's what Bloom believes, and so I assume it's probably right.
Yeah.
I trust his highlights.
Fake banana bread does come through from warning track to try and frame orange dress further, the sole person in that conversation as it did happen. Now, what warning track doesn't know, and it's slightly unfortunate for him, is the fact that Danny DeVito is a suspected double agent. Orange dress leaves the conversation and then rejoins the same conversation. I don't think a spy would ever attempt that. Really, it's just so outlandish. But maybe up in Diamond, you have to really respect all the potential traps.
Bloom liked it, but it's the sort of thing that if you think it's down to two people, you might just do just to
Oh no, this is it.
low light.
White time ad comes
Yeah.
through. Orange dress clearly not at a window. Has Bloom spotted it? He's rotated with warning track here.
Banana bread.
Banana bread does come through. It's another one. This time he is outside of the conversation with a suspected DA. Once more, it is going to be orange dress in the conversation with a DA. However, why would you banana bread twice? What are you trying to fake at this point? It very much feels like it is a frame attempt coming through from warning track, and I think that that's something that Bloom will have at the tip of his tongue is that orange dress hasn't actually left the conversation with the DA between those two banana breads.
Yeah, we're playing a very behavioral game, but the reality is we haven't been to statue, and neither has orange dress. It's hard for anybody to finish unless they do, say, like a bug, and there clearly hasn't been a bug. Neither of them have moved.
Okay, so first the statue dies is the potential here. Orange dress, I think, has just finished her drink. No, she's got one more sip left. 24 seconds left on the clock. Warning track almost certainly ready to time out here. That's going to be the drink now finished, I believe, by orange dress, unless I'm bad at counting. And it is very much likely to be the timeout.
Mad at Twin.
Oh my, he's very mad at Twin.
He talks and the shot.
So talk me through that. What did Twin do that was so
Twin went to
spy-like?
statue. Yeah, he went to statues with about 25, 30 seconds left. He does two inspects. And I don't think Bloom really had a 100% grasp on the purloin. He then goes into conversation. Bloom does an angry little, like, I'm frustrated, please don't go into conversation and talk. And then Twin goes into conversation and talks. So he shot for a presumed flirt.
Wow, that is insane. Spying in Diamond equals impossible, says Dowsey. We've seen two spy wins come out, and Warning Track has done seemingly the impossible. Also, can we talk about the fact that the twin that was shot, I believe, got shot after Banana Bread, after he was cleared, I think, as well. Also was at a statue or not at a conversation, I believe, when the timeout came through. So
in chat, and I this is basically what I said it already, but the only way that Track wins is if Blink Twin did exactly that, and he does exactly that.
And so that's super unfortunate. Blink Twin also with a fingerprint as well, I believe. So really adding up against himself. That is going to be Warning Track somehow clutching out a win here on Courtyard, bringing us back in range of that tied up 4-4. Let's see what Bloom is able to do. Once more playing Plane Twin, 2 games in a row, the Mind Games Pwn Noob, as we do look to count ourselves in. 3, 2, 1, play it. Bloom on this Plane Twin, 2 games in a row, looking to try and take that spy win to secure his lead in this series.
Game 4 timeout? Game 4 timeout? I have a...
This is a pack with 4 people. Game 4 timeout.
I love it. So, yeah, exactly. There we go. So I have a suspicion that people don't like timeouting in the first game. They want to warm into the game. But eventually they go, you know what I haven't done? I haven't done a timeout. And it almost always happens around the 4th game. time at the first game, so
No.
I'm talking air here, but we got a banana bread. Was there a single low light?
Potential on Buns. That would have been the only one if there was. Buns, boots, heels.
Miss B.
Miss B.
Everything. She wears brown boots, buns. It all starts with B, right? And her code name is Miss B.
Yep. That's the contact completed nice and early. Of course, it was a green time ad, meaning that the spy has 2 minutes 30. The seduce does come through here on to Alice's seduction target, putting us at 34%. Very reachable endgame seduce.
When he's been doing these flirts, it looks like he's been consistently doing the first opportunity without interrupting someone to flirt against WarningTrack, who I wouldn't say is like the hardest camper in the world, but he isn't watching flirts specifically unless you're being very rude about them. I think it's fingerprint on this drink. Do we want it?
Waiter does offer. We do want it. Yep, it is going to be the drink taken here. WarningTrack very much tracks fingerprints as much as possible. We'll credit the fingerprint there to Bloom, I would imagine, as well as the fact that he will just assume that you have finished fingerprints if you've already got one towards the end of the game, as long as there's not too many fingerprints to be tracked. That's the second flirt does come through up to 68% here. Now looking fairly decent on our soft tail coverage. We are just, one more step away from completing those soft tails against WarningTrack. Off to the statue for a gulp of the drink, and now the inspects will come through.
The one thing about doing this statue is you lose the opportunity if the ambassador goes to statue to inspect and print. Now, that's a squad,
wow.
That's a shot.
Yeah, that was very clean from WarningTrack, keeping an eye on the twin well and truly there.
Yeah,
this time Bloom's frame.
The reality is here, if you do inspect early on courtyard, you're either going to limit yourself on fingerprint and swap, or you're going to go to statues twice.
Right,
those are really pleasant. In this case, Bloom goes, well, I don't want to go back to statues, so I guess I'll swap and die.
Apparently, Bloom's claiming the swap was accidental, so we'll believe his word there.
I'm the caster here.
I'm the caster here, and you determined that swap was definitely intentional. All right, no worries.
Oh,
either way.
Yeah, no, it kind of felt like a fake swap. Sorry, flub swap. We're on balcony now. Ugh.
Yeah, right. WarningTrack's map pick of balcony banned against him in week 1, I believe, by Magician, and tied up 4 apiece as well here, Pwn Noob. So very, very tense as we round up into the 9th game of this best of 12 series. Of course, first to 7 win, a 6-6 tie party could come through, and WarningTrack will be playing Irish for our first round of balcony here. Very clean bug animation potential, but more likely that we don't get bugs. We'll have to see.
Let's get started.
Let's get started. Let's count it down. 3, 2, 1. Playing it. WarningTrack AI controlling into the conversation here, and goes for the immediate white banana bread right off the bat. It is going to be everyone in the conversation apart from the ambassador, but of course a white means he does talk through it. Let's see what happens. Let's see who gets highlights from Bloom and how Bloom looks to play this one.
And a bread, but Bloom's not highlighting for that. We green the flirt. One more green flirt, and this becomes a green close flirt, and this becomes a very hard game to shoot.
General's most likely to join the conversation next to the ambassador here, if he is going to join the conversation, and there it is. That does mean that the flirt, as the cooldown expires, will be across the conversation if WarningTrack wants to go for it. Opportunity to leave the conversation and join next to his seduction target. WarningTrack knows that he has some time to play with, but the clock is quickly counting down, and we are at 1 minute. There it is. The white flirt from across the conversation puts us to 68%, well in range for a 3 flirt, and now perfect opportunity for General to come straight back into the conversation right next to us. Conversation has flirt has expired, but the General is not having it over towards the Ambassador. Still the opportunity for him to join the conversation right next to us, but we are starting to tick right down, and talk is towards the last portion of the game.
Shot for just talking next to
Right.
the little man. Actually, we've been next to him all 3 flirts.
Well, it is going to be WarningTrack going for the flirt, completes the mission countdown, and the shot will come through. Like you mentioned, you know, anyone who talks towards the end, and of course with Small Man being next to him the entire game, you might assume that Small Man was the seduction target regardless.
Between General and Small Man, WarningTrack gave 2 different opportunities there for Bloom to think he was the spy. White BB. I think I would have liked more if he very much insisted on being next to General and just hope for the green. Doing the 3 talk flirt after a white BB. White BBs make completing missions on balcony hard.
That is true. So we will jump over to Bloom. Spying for us here on balcony is going to be switching things up. Pony Noob is going to be playing Bling Twin this game, rather than the plain twin of the previous 2 spy rounds. And of course, this is the opportunity for Bloom to take the lead in this series if he is able to get a spy win on balcony, which of course, as we've seen many times, is 100% possible. Let's get in on to it. Counters down. 3, 2, 1. Play it. Bloom AI controlling straight on into the conversation. Still AI controlling. Starts talking under AI control as well. So that's going to be the first talk of the conversation pretty much to Bloom just due to AI control.
I feel a flirt coming on. I feel a highlight coming on.
Well, there's the highlight and there's the flirt.
Yeah, so this is why AI controlling on balcony is a bit dangerous. Is that for that first talk, it's actually really hard for that to be a flirt. It's the sort of thing that I think is unsuspicious. But then if you ever want to flirt ever again, you're gonna do 2 talks back to back, and that is super suspicious. And only for 22%. It's not like we got particularly on that flirt.
Bloom leaves the conversation to lower the flirt cooldown, as well as potentially join the conversation at a more ideal position to continue flirting with Papa Danger. Is going to go all the way around and get just that little touch closer to Morgan Freeman here, as I continue to change my names.
Because Queen and Twin are shoulder to shoulder with Morgan Freeman. Any flirt that we're doing is not going to be like 51%er.
Do wonder if the bug potential could come through at one point. Definitely his previous position in conversation was a solid area that you might go for the bug, but here you kind of face on with a sniper. It makes things very difficult. Plus, the Ambassador is super unlikely to ever join the conversation in a position for an easy bug. We're still not talking, and we've got time ticking down. Green clock out finally resetting. Was there a green clock out, or am I just imagining things? I am. Bloom is just going for the no complete here, hope for the missed shot. In fact, never mind. This is going to be the double agent contact coming out. Banana bread, of course, it is just a fake. The double agent is outside of the conversation. He goes for the bug, and now WarningTrack is looking for the shot. He's actually going to run out of time regardless. He's hoping for a missed shot with the dance there. I mean,
the dance had caused the missed shot, it would have been amazing. But WarningTrack, I mean, the bug happened with 3 seconds left. WarningTrack had enough time to shoot the dancer. On balcony, you can literally just rotate the camera around, and their dance is kind of ruined.
I feel like if that play happened just 7 seconds earlier, Pony Noob, before we got to the 10-second left in the clock,
bread was fake.
Then that would have been a beautiful attempt at dancing to win via miss shot.
The banana bread was fake because the one character out of the conversation was the DA. So choice. I feel like if you're gonna go with the weird play at the end of the game, going the window and doing a green time ad is also awful, but I don't know. This is why balcony's hard.
Balcony is hard. Series is tied up 5 apiece now, and we're heading to our last map pick of High Rise to complete us. It is Bloom's map pick banned away against him by KCM in the previous week. Of course, WarningTrack will be spying up first. It is going to be bug, contact, fingerprint, inspect, and seduce mission set. Very standard stuff. WarningTrack going to be playing the most suspicious spy as well, bringing orange dress to the table.
Yeah, this is... Every game's a point. You guarantee yourself a tie if you win one game. You win the game if you win two. This is where if this is when it's going to happen. It's all on the line.
And let's talk about, what happened in week 1 between Bloom and KCM. That was such a close series, was tied up again, I believe, 5-5 before we went to the last map pick of Ballroom, where KCM managed to sweep Ballroom with a snipe and a spy win. So Bloom's been here 2 weeks in a row and is not going to be willing to go down without a point on the board, whereas WarningTrack had a slightly more comfortable victory over Magician 7-4. Really, the pressure on Bloom not to go down 2 losses in a row in the same exact scenario as the previous week must be mounting. So you got to expect up here in Diamond, Bloom will be feeling it. With WarningTrack spying first, it's all on Bloom to make the correct shot to begin with. So let's count ourselves down into the final map choice of this series of High Rise. 3, 2, 1, play it.
Rory, it's been a pleasure casting with you. And when we get guaranteed 2 more games, I think we've had a full 3 sets actually. No, G-Man Baldrick was only 10 games, I think. But
yeah,
pleasure. We're getting a 51% flirt. Let's go.
Let's go. Did he stop talking immediately after the flirt came through as well? Was that a stop talk? No, just went straight for it. Yeah. So WarningTrack, really good start, you could say, getting that 51% flirt. Now, of course, this mission set here is designed to force a missed shot onto the sniper, and look at that. Danny DeVito goes over and picks up the middle statue, which means inspects could be done, although it was potential just for the one animation. It wasn't tracking it super well. However,
WarningTrack, I think, was more likely watching the Ambassador at the time, because he was looking to print. Now, his Ambassador was rude and did not take the drink. It would have actually made Little Man look even more suspicious if the drink had been taken, because he did end up taking a drink.
Yeah, and so here we go. Briefcase.
Without moving.
Yeah, float done in record time here on High Rise. Two flirts, 2 greens. WarningTrack actually rejects the drink there, really wanted to keep his hands empty. The Ambassador has left the briefcase on the ground. In this position, it's likely that the suspected double agent would be the one to return it, due to the fact that she's just taken a drink, and then you can see that Rocker will pick that up. Now, the issue for WarningTrack here is that he doesn't know that Rocker is the suspected double agent. I doubt he's figured it out yet either at this point on High Rise. Oftentimes, you will see at high levels the spy will figure out who the suspected double agent is.
When you say oftentimes, I would say it's less than a handful.
Less than a handful?
Yeah, WarningTrack, that clever. He keeps on rejecting these drinks really fast, and I'm not loving it. Planning on putting his hands, because Ambassador... Can Ambassador get a drink from there?
Yeah. Yeah, you can. Definitely from that position.
Spy Twin, that Toby turn was ridiculous.
So here we go. Toby will offer the drink to the Ambassador here. This time the Ambassador will take the drink. Now, if WarningTrack was to take the drink straight afterwards, that would imply a lot of guilt to him, considering he has rejected, 3 times already? I like that reject coming out of WarningTrack, because now he's forcing the drink to go to someone else.
Could be a shot, but I'm not sure who it would be.
Small man.
Little man, potentially?
Yeah. Middle statues. He's now standing next to the Ambassador. He's now probably going to take a drink and get a fingerprint. It would be a difficult fingerprint. Oh, insta-reject actually coming out.
Insta-reject's not much better. It looks awful.
Yeah, exactly. That was a very quick reject coming out of Small Man. If anyone had to have guilt on them out of all of the AI in this game, it would be Small Man. But now we're getting to the 24-second mark. WarningTrack eyeing up the bug route potential onto the Ambassador at the painting here. 18 seconds left on the clock, and Bloom holding his shot dear. The Ambassador is going to go behind, but not in range for a bug. WarningTrack, will he reach? He does over, puts his hand in the pocket. Did Bloom see it is the question. I don't think he has. WarningTrack may have just done it on high rise, getting the last second win here, and that is going to be the win going to WarningTrack with the last second bug. Could haven't come any closer to the last second in this game.
Yes. Who's in chat? I'm gonna. Did you have any hint of that bug?
Yeah, we're looking at the.
Thank you,
the
Pierce.
replay.
Playing in Diamond is impossible. Kappa times 3.
Kappa times 3. No, I'm shut up. All right, so we do have WarningTrack taking that. That bug was definitely visible, but I guess I suppose the what do you want to call it? The window divider.
Particularly nice is the spy was naturally looking forward, like they just completed their animation, they did the bug, and then looked particularly out of place. There wasn't like an animation break to do the bug. And there's a lot of cover on the hand. It was really going to be if soulless look that you get when you do a bug. That Bloom was probably watching for because the arm was really hard to see.
Yeah, wow, that is patience in buckets there from WarningTrack to take that bug towards the end. I think WarningTrack was kind of comfortable in the idea of timing out, but you know, Diamond and high-level players almost make luck for themselves with the opportunities. You know, the Ambassador was either going to go right, and if he did go right, then WarningTrack may pursue to attempt a bug. If he came back left, then there was potential for a 50-50 chance that the Ambassador walks right past him or even next to him. WarningTrack really just playing it down to the last second, working off of the Ambassador's movements, and is rewarded with that first point in the series. Up to 6-5 here. WarningTrack has secured a tie party, but also now with the sniper position that he finds himself in, could even take the victory over Bloom. Bug, contact, fingerprint, inspect, and seduce are Bloom's choices for this any 3 out of 5 high-rise mission set. Without further ado, let us count down into our final game of today's European SpyParty Competitive League Season 4 broadcast with Bloom versus WarningTrack. 3, 2, 1, play it.
I expect this to go to the last second because it's Bloom, and we got to make this as stressful as possible for everybody involved.
Is going to join the conversation with the Ambassador and the double agent here, but I'm really intrigued to see how he does play it. So you're assuming he would play it stressfully. Right now, it seems Bloom is ignoring the yellow indicator that says he's meant to talk, but thankfully, Plane Twin joins and saves us from a silent conversation.
If Bloom was playing aggressively, like he could have requested that drink, for example, he didn't. Gets rejected. He can go for a difficult print, and this is actually a very Bloomy play of try and catch them off guard with something. He's also getting the flirt here.
There it is, the white action test from across the conversation, as well as the fingerprint raw drink.
Good, like 30 seconds after Ambassador took the drink. It's one of those ones that's particularly hard to catch.
Let's see how on point WarningTrack is when it comes to his fingerprint tracking. However, the more on point you are at fingerprint tracking, the harder high rise potentially becomes here, Noob, because AI like to pick briefcase up and to go get fingerprints for themselves, and it can cause the sniper to be forced into an unfortunate scenario where they almost have to take a wrong shot.
Exactly. Fingerprint is a mean mission because either you don't watch it and then you get to do fingerprints for free. You only kind of watch it, so then you end up only seeing one of the 2 fingerprints too often, or you overwatch it, get hit by confirmation bias of that character just went to mid statues and now they've done a fingerprint. I assume with the spy, and that's bad too. You can't really win with fingerprint tracking.
Bloom has got his second flirt done, 57%, gulps his drink and takes another. Is this going to be another drink take? Is there a fingerprint on this drink as well? I doubt it.
A straight fingerprint. Yeah, no, Ambassador just took his second drink.
Wow, so 2 fingerprints obtained via drinks here.
Is the banana bread, except for both the NDA and the SDA bailout. He wants to green this flirt tremendously to clean this up. He does not. 86%.
86%. Ooh, the range for a bug here is so tempting, but it's just in front of the sniper. There's almost no
You
way
can't do this
that WarningTrack
bug.
wouldn't miss it.
You're playing right now that you've got away with fingerprint, and then all you want to do is flirt and double agent. Time's running low though. The double agent does come back, and the seduction target doesn't do something silly like go to statues. After this briefcase.
Hey, the seduction target going to statues wouldn't be the worst thing, actually, for Bloom here. She's already got a fingerprint, and you know, was in a position where a bug was possible, and Bloom would have been able to 100% see it. So this is going to be a second fingerprint coming out for Irish. Very aggressive fingerprinting for Irish. Banana Bread does come out. That removes her from the running. Salmon is the one with a highlight. 15 seconds left on the clock. How does WarningTrack react to the Banana Bread is the real question here. This could be the difference between winning or losing. Here comes the Seduce. That's 2 missions done, but 2 is not enough.
On the
window pad looking for the time ad. He gets the time ad. It's a green, but now he has to run. He goes for the bug. He gets shot in the back, and WarningTrack has done it. 2 weeks in a row, he will take the victory up here in Diamond. Anyone potentially doubting the wild card of this division will be reconsidering their predictions. 2 straight victories over Magician and now Bloom. And unfortunately, the tale for Bloom is continued. 2 losses in the last map. 2 back-to-back. That is going to be painful for Bloom to experience.
Looking at this party, the double agent was never going to come to this conversation because the SDA is there, but Bloom doesn't know that. And when it comes to the flirt, the seduction target gave him as little time as he could, so he has to go do something. Ambassador's not close enough, so he has to time ad. WarningTrack, I think, caught the time ad because how could you not? But the bug wouldn't have helped. He got the shot off just in time because if Little Man goes behind that conversation and starts dancing, we would have had the most insane of endings.
Yeah, that would have been really unfortunate. I think WarningTrack was almost forced to take the shot preemptively there to avoid any potential small man shenanigans. Really well played from WarningTrack. 2 weeks in a row, we've seen that he's pulling out the big guns to try and take the wins here in Diamond. And what an excellent set of games we've had here, Po Noob. You know, the challenger up between Pashix and Fancy Pants was definitely full of entertainment. Baldrick showed up and told us exactly why Copper is one of the scariest divisions to be in, apart from Diamond, where WarningTrack is continuing his winning streak of 2 wins so far.
Just looking at the Diamond standings, so there are 2 players who are 2-0, undefeated, and it's WarningTrack and Crazy Kaylee. Crazy Kaylee not particularly that surprising, except to Crazy Kaylee himself, and then WarningTrack, who gets KCM next week. It doesn't get much easier.
Yeah, that is crazy. WarningTrack versus KCM will be the next matchup for WarningTrack. Crazy Kaylee to play Bloom next week as well. The Magician Canadian Bacon series has already happened due to playing ahead. And so you can go check out the results of that if you do wish to do so. But that about wraps up our broadcast here for the European broadcast of the SpyParty Competitive League. Po Noob, it was a pleasure to broadcast with you, but I think we do have to give shout outs to our host, Nerf, who has been spectating and providing us the visuals throughout. So big shout out to Nerf.
Yeah, the next cast is going to be our Sunday night cast at what would be 6 o'clock Pacific time. Just looking at the lineups that we have, it's going to be a lot of good matches, actually. Nanthalus versus Aturiax, which I know was a slobber knocker, and then Drawn Onward versus Slappy Davis, a platinum match. WarningTrack and Deboshi, so you're only going to get good casting here moving forward. Dowsy, did you want to drop some links, some plugs?
Sure, yeah. You can find me on DowsyGG all across the internet. And if you haven't seen me streaming, then I do stream relatively regularly here for SpyParty. So if you drop in and say hi, I will say hi back to you, and we can start a beautiful friendship, ladies and gentlemen. Po Noob, yourself?
Stream, but we'll be back here. And I suspect, thankfully, I just looked at the list. My game's not being casted because my game was silly.
That was pretty entertaining. You should definitely go and check Po Noob versus Scallions if you haven't, just because that will bring. Pardon?
was Sharper who was playing.
Oh,
Scallions
okay,
is
my
going
bad.
to have his own Slobberknocker against Elvis because those two, I think, make the most entertaining games.
Right.
Good to go here for our EU. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your night. For our NA people who've woken up early to enjoy us, enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you very much for tuning in, guys, and we'll catch you tomorrow for the North American SCL broadcast. Good night.
Remember, goodbye.